Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about how to make your own adjustable kickstand for the Suzuki DR650. Now first and foremost, I didn't come up with this idea, I found it on the Adventure Rider forums. I'll link that post to that thread down below, and they go through everything you need to do, and that's basically the guide I'm going to be following. But I thought I'd make a video out of it just to show you how to do it, as well as to go through in detail all the different steps. So let's get right into it. What we're going to be doing is, you've got your kickstand right here. And if you want your bike to lean more, say if you change your tires to sumo tires, or if you adjust your suspension, or in my case, I just want a little more lean so that when I'm parking off-road, on the side of the road, I don't have to worry about the bike falling over. So that's my motive, is just to get a little bit more lean. Not a lot, and just a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the kickstand, we're going to cut it in two spots. We're going to take about a 3-inch section out of it. Then we're going to thread the inside of each of the remaining pieces with a 3/4 inch by 10 pitch coarse thread tap. I couldn't find one locally, so I picked this one up for about 15 bucks online. It's probably pretty crappy, but since I'm only going to be doing this once, I didn't need a super nice one. Then once you have that threaded, you're going to take a piece of threaded rod. In my case, I'm just going to be using this bolt hook because I was able to find this locally and I didn't want to have to wait for shipping. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a 6-inch piece out of this, and it comes with the nuts as well, and it was only about 10 bucks. So that's not a bad deal. If you didn't want to have to cut it, it'd probably be easier to just buy a piece online that's already 6 inches. And so you can probably see where this is going, is we're going to thread the remaining pieces onto the rod, and then the amount that you screw the two pieces together is going to be the adjustment. And then you're going to take the nuts and you can jam them up against the two parts, and that'll jam it so that it doesn't just rotate while you're riding, and that'll keep it there. But this is going to give you about 2 inches of adjustability in your kickstand, which drops you to about where the OEM lowered kickstand is. But I don't need that much drop, I just need a little bit of drop, because I just want my bike to lean a little bit more, but I'm still keeping the dirt tires, and I'm still having the stock suspension, I'm not lowering it or anything like that. I just noticed that compared to, say for example, my starter bike, which was a KE100, as well as my friend's KLR 650, both those bikes just have more lean, feel more stable when you put them on the kickstand on anything that has even a slight amount of slant, as well as if you have the bike covered and you got the wind going on it. I just want a little more stability. So let's get the bike jacked up, we'll pull the kickstand off, and then we're going to go cut it and see how this goes. Okay, so real quick I'm going to go over the measurements and why I chose them for where to cut. We've got the threaded rod we're going to take 6 inches out of. That's easy, so we just take it from this end to here. Then we've got the 3-inch section that we're going to be taking out of the kickstand. Then the threaded rod will go in, since it'll be 6 inches, it'll go 1.5 inches into each side, which will get us right to here. That'll then leave us about 3/4 of an inch on this side, and depending on whether this thing interferes inside, I don't believe this goes into the tube, but if it does, we'll deal with that. But most likely, we could go as far as we wanted out here, but I'll go about 1.25, since with this combined with this would give us 2 inches of adjustability, which is actually more than we could even use, since the distance with the nuts included with the 3-inch section out, with the nuts only have 1 3/4 distance between them. So with these slammed together, you would only have 1 3/4 anyways. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to need any more than 3/4 of an inch of drop for the amount of lean that I'm trying to get to. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to go over how I'm going to be cutting the metal pieces. And first off, I gotta say, do not try this at home. There's a lot of risk with trying what I'm going to do, And I'm mostly just doing it for educational purposes so you guys can learn to see whether or not it works at all. But I would highly recommend you don't try this yourself because of the risk. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try using an abrasive metal chop saw blade in a standard wood circular saw. Now you can get metal teeth blades that are meant for cutting metal that you can put on a circular saw. That's a much better, safer option. But those are going to be about 50 bucks. Or you could get a dedicated metal chop saw, which the big advantage of that is it's going to have a metal guard rather than plastic, just in case this blade were to shatter, which is very rare, but it is possible with these abrasive discs that they could shatter. But then you're looking at, $100, $200 for a good one of those. And so for 5 bucks, I'm going to see whether or not this abrasive blade on the standard wood miter saw works or not. And the whole reason I'm doing this at all, rather than just using a hacksaw or an angle grinder, is I want the kickstand, the cut, to be completely square so that when the nut screws down on it, I have the most contact surface possible and I get the best, tightest fit. So let's go try it out. Well, all right, let's try this out and see how well it works. Definitely got the safety glasses on for this one. So, let's see how it goes. Wow, that was loud. Definitely wear hearing protection as well. Don't be like me and forget that. But we went through and it came through pretty clear, except for I didn't quite go far enough to get all the way through, so I'll just file this down or use some sort of grinder on that. But pretty much it worked. It was a little bit slow, but what can you expect from 3/4 inch steel? I mean, not too shabby. Let's do the kickstand next. Well, all right, here we go. Got the 2 cuts made. Just a little bit of filing to do there, and I think we're gonna be good to tap them. Let's go head to the garage and do that. Well, it's been a few days, and unfortunately tapping the pieces myself didn't go as well as planned. I put the pieces into the vise here, and then I oiled up the threads on the tap, went back and forth slowly, and unfortunately I couldn't get more than about 1/2 inch into each end before the part just kept completely swinging out of the vise. And I probably spent maybe 40 minutes wrestling with it before I just accepted the fact that this cheap tap wasn't going to cut it, literally. And so as far as this guy goes, I'm putting that in the trash. So what did I end up doing? Well, I called around and I found a local machine shop that was willing to thread these parts, and they only charged me $25, which honestly I think is a great value. And if you price around your area, the cost of a good tap is probably going to be about 40 bucks. So if you can get it done for around there or less, I would recommend just going to a machine shop, since they're going to be able to do a perfect job for you and you're not going to have any problems. But anyways, if you're curious, the inside diameter of this tube, I'll put the numbers up somewhere over here, but the inside diameter is already larger than the recommended drill out diameter. So I'm not really sure why that tap was doing such a poor job, but because this should have been pretty easy for it to tap with less material. So anyways, now that we've got it done, you can see it works just how we expect it to. You can loosen the jam nuts on each end, go ahead and twist it down, tighten it up, and there you go. Now you can compare it to how it was originally, and we've got it a little bit down, plenty of room to go. I'm going to be able to perfectly fine-tune that lean angle that I get on the bike, just like I want it. And so now all that's left to do is just paint these silver parts here black, then we're going to be able to go and put it on the bike. So let's get to it. I've got the kickstand back on the bike. I was able to paint the pieces, no problem. They look a lot better in black, I think. You can see that we've achieved a little bit more drop than what it was originally compared to the piece that was there before. I'm probably going to go down just a little bit more, but this is exactly what I was wanting, just a little bit more drop, not a lot. These two nuts here are 1 1/8. Now I thought about using lock nuts, but I wouldn't recommend that personally, because if you think about it, as you try and twist them onto the threaded rod, the rod's just going to want to turn. And you're going to end up in a situation where you have to hold the rod with vice grip pliers or something like that, which wouldn't be ideal. So I just stuck with the normal ones here, nuts. But anyways, worked out good. I think that's it for this video. And so hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.